Hey folks, this is Rhykker, and winter is coming. Did you ever want to step into Westeros, the world of Game of Thrones, not just as a viewer, but as a player, shaping your own destiny in a world of power struggles and betrayals and legendary creatures? Well, that's exactly what Game of Thrones Kingsroad delivers, and I've had the chance to play it early. Here's why you'll want to check out this upcoming game, and we're going to thank developer Netmarble for sponsoring this video. So, Game of Thrones Kingsroad is an action-adventure RPG. It's available on PC and mobile, and it's an official Game of Thrones game. It's set during Season 4 of the TV series, but it follows an original story. You play as the heir of House Dwyer. It's a minor northern house caught in the web of Westerosi politics. You're going to meet iconic characters like Jon Snow, Roose Bolton, Cersei Lannister, and you're going to have to navigate Westeros's complex political landscape and build relationships with these key characters. You're going to make alliances, you're going to fight off threats, and you're going to explore new plot lines that expand on the original series. And perhaps best of all, the game is completely free to play with a promise of no pay-to-win mechanics. Now, I really loved the first few seasons of Game of Thrones, and I think Season 4 was just amazing. So getting to go back and revisit peak Game of Thrones was just an awesome experience. Hearing the familiar music right away just brought me back, and then exploring King's Landing and Castle Black, Highgarden, the Wall, and even some new hidden locations that expand on Game of Thrones lore. The game has political intrigue, you got plenty of side quests, you got world events, and it all comes together to make Westeros really feel alive. You're also going to encounter some creatures that you've never seen on the show before, like ice spiders and stormhorn unicorns, ironbeak griffins, and through the multiplayer mode called Altar of Memories, you can team up with other players to battle against these powerful monsters. Now, combat in Kingsroad, it is active manual control of your character. You are going to be pulling off combos. Your skill actually matters. You're not just watching your hero attack. You're going to dodge, you're going to counter. There are a number of different combo maneuvers that you can do between light attack, light, heavy, and strategically engaging enemies is really important to your success here, rather than just mashing buttons or even letting the game play itself. The game offers 3 different classes. You got the Knight, which is your classic trained soldier, like the Westerosi Knights. You have the Sellsword, who is just wild and savage, like the Wildlings or the Dothraki. Then you got the Assassin, which offers a more agile, dagger-based gameplay inspired by the Faceless Men and the people of Duran. So you pick one of these 3 classes, you can fully customize your character, and then you have fully unique weapons, unique actions, a wide range of skills. So you can really find any playstyle that's just right for you. You can go more stealth, you can go more aggressive, you can go more counterplay based. So let's talk through some of the game systems here. This is my little town. That's my manor. So it's this area here. We start off the story closer to the north. We get to go beyond the wall and meet some familiar characters. And then the story progresses increasingly south. And while there's the main quest to do, there's also side quests marked by these blue symbols. There's also just random events that happen. Like traveling down the road, for instance, and I'm heading towards a quest, and then I hear someone calling out for help. And I'm like, I don't care about this. I'm going off for a quest. But then I hear what he's saying, and I feel bad for him. He's like, help my son. And I'm like, okay, fine. I stop, and I do a detour, and I see that some ruffians have just, I don't know if they're ruffians, some soldiers have just executed someone. And this poor man just wants his son's body back. So, like, I'm just getting involved in, like, the day-to-day lives of these random people. The world really feels alive. And narratively, it feels like there are consequences to the decisions that I make, at least in side quests. My understanding is the main story does not have narrative consequences to your decisions, but the side content does. And I believe I have already experienced some of those consequences. Now, the world, again, is populated by a number of things. You have these bandit camps here that you can clear, and they come back, and there's specific rewards that you can farm from there. There are also beasts that spawn every so often that you want to take care of. For instance, this is the elk that I've been trying to get a specific legendary material for to craft myself some really good gear. Then there's these weirwood trees. These are events where you interact with a tree and it takes you into a memory of the past. And you gotta fight waves of enemies. These hands together, these are like shrine or religion-related events that have their own little mechanics and rewards. Then there's a bunch of ruins that you can find. I've cleared them all, but these actually add little parkour areas. These have traversals, they have puzzles to solve, basically, to figure out how do I get over there. Okay, I gotta climb this, I gotta maybe push something over here, I need to shoot down this ladder so that I can access it. So there actually is significant non-combat gameplay. You also have your multiplayer dungeons. Different towns as well have different bounty boards. So as I'm going out, I'm also like hunting for bounties. I think I've done them all that I have access to right now, so you're not seeing more on the map. But the bounties, they'll kind of give you an idea of where the bounty was last seen, and then you have to find them, and it'll give you like a description like, oh, it's a tall guy with red hair. So I go into that region and I'm looking for a tall guy with red hair, and sometimes these bounties are clearly villains, sometimes they're just being painted as villains, and they're like really pathetic guys running away from you saying, no, I didn't do anything, please. And it gives you like these moral dilemmas. And everything, all the voice acting, the narrative, the cutscenes, the cinematography of everything really draws me in. In fact, the opening sequence, the introduction to the game basically that takes you beyond the wall, is definitely one of my favorite introductory sequences to any game ever. So altogether, as I'm progressing through this main quest narrative, I'm just in this open world that feels alive. Things are happening. There are many different kinds of content to engage with. I'm smiling when I'm meeting my favorite familiar characters. I'm scowling when I'm meeting some dastardly villains that... Now we'll talk a little bit through our character and our character's power. So let's look at our equipment first off. You have different equipment slots. Gear comes in different rarities. You're going to be crafting gear. You're going to be upgrading gear. There's different set bonuses. So for instance, I have the Savant set, but there's a whole lot of different sets. And again, the different sets give different kind of set bonuses. Skill-wise, you have your set of basic active skills. These consume resource. So you build up resource in combat, and then you can activate different skills. You can level them up by investing points into them. You unlock more skills as you go on later. Oh, I just got Whirlwind. I gotta try out Whirlwind. Then there's default attacks. This is your regular, like, left click is light attack, right click is heavy attack, and there's a bunch of combos. So I've been maxing out my strike combo too, which is light attack, heavy attack, which I rely on a lot. But then there's even your sneak attack you can level up, your mighty strike, which triggers periodically. You can get into parrying, you can get into evasion attacks. There's a whole lot of different things here. And some of these as well have deeper skill trees. It's not just you level them up and they get better. It's also, well, now you have choices to make. Once you get this to level 3, then you can pick between different upgrades that are going to modify the skill in different ways to better suit whatever playstyle you're going for, whatever kind of build you're making. Then there's the trait tree. These are your passive points. So I'm playing a very aggro style. I put it all into attack. And I'm going for a crit build as well. So I'm building up my crit chance and crit damage. And I'm saving up to get lethal strike here. I need 5 points to further buff my crit strike. But again, a whole lot of different builds that you can make here, all based on the 3 core classes. Then you got house sigils. These are things that you're going to find, and they're going to give you different buffs. Each of them does something different, and you put them together in these little boards here. And you have to fill in with the sigils that you have found into the board. These are going to give you, again, bonuses to your power. So it's another element of gearing and character power to progress. Then set research. These different sets, these are all the different sets in the game that you can find or craft, and you can empower these, level them up further by feeding them a bunch of lesser gear. We're going to hit research, and we're unlocking further and further bonuses. Then there's also artifacts. These seem to be really rare. I only have the one, and I've been leveling it up. It passively just increases your power as well. And it actually also gives you an extra active skill here. And then eventually, again, you're going to unlock more things in your little town. So you're not just building up your character's power, you are also upgrading your estate. So there's different resources through which you can level up your estate. I'm at level 7 currently. I've unlocked everything, but these things can all be leveled up. So within your estate, you're going to have stables. Yep, I have a direwolf mount. I love him. different mounts will have different perks, and then there's different saddles that you can apply to give bonuses to their abilities. At the forge is where you're going to be crafting your different kinds of gear. It's also where you're going to be reforging to upgrade. There's a whole kind of system by which you can empower your gear by eating up identical versions of that gear. The workshop, if you're into making potions, you can craft your potions here as well. And by the way, all of these can largely be found in different towns as well. You don't have to do this all from your estate. You can often find, you know, a blacksmith, for instance, in Winterfell or wherever you may be. You can craft jewelry as well, use them as well to empower your jewelry. Then the tavern system, this is where you're going to hire workers. So different workers have different stats to them, different expected products, and as you level up your estate, you're going to have more potential workers that you can have, and you can put them to work on things like expeditions, for instance. So you can send workers on expeditions, and they're going to have a chance to bring back different kinds of rewards. And the better your workers and the better the expedition, the greater the odds. You can either set these passively, where they'll take 9 hours, or you can complete them instantly if you have some of these other higher tier carriages. So altogether, there's just a huge number of ways to empower your character and also grow your estate. And I really like this combination, these two progression systems. I always feel like I'm working towards something, like I'm empowering something, I'm seeing the progress. So that's Game of Thrones Kingsroad, folks, and if this sounds like your kind of game, be sure to wishlist it on Steam and follow them on their socials for their newest updates. I'm actually really hyped to finish this game. I can't wait to dive back in on a full release. I want to see how the story ends. I want to continue to see how my house is rebuilt, and I want to finish exploring all the regions of Westeros. So click the link in the description to try it for yourself. Follow Game of Thrones Kingsroad on social media to stay updated on all things Westeros.